Hey everyone, how's it going? So today I was going to take my 5.3 apart and show you taking it apart. I just never got around to it. It's just not going to happen today. I lost the heat in the house, and it turns out I got to replace the heat pump unit. Yeah, it's like everything happens at once. So, got no heat in the house, at least for a little while. We actually lost it several days ago and just got around to it, but it's been pouring rain, so this has been miserable trying to figure out what's going on. It's the first break I've had since getting back to work. Anyway, so the 5.3 is here in the back room. Like I said, I was going to take it apart. I'm just not getting to it now. At least I believe it's a 5.3. Could be a 4.8, but it came out of a vehicle. It should have been a 5.3 unless it was replaced. So that's that. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over these DOD lifters real quick. But here in my back room, here's the motor I was going to take apart. I have another one sitting over in the other garage. But this is the one I want to take apart first, and then this way I can get the block cleaned and everything else. We have the machine at the shop, the hot tank that will clean the block up pretty good. So I'm going to do that. But I'll get it apart next weekend. Like I said, hoping to do it this weekend, just not going to happen. All right, so I just haven't had a chance to do much of anything for obvious reasons. But here we go. Now that motor in the back room, that's an old school 5.3. I don't know the designations, LM7, LM, whatever the heck they're called. I don't know, I don't care. That's not a DOD motor. 5.3s came with DOD, I think starting in 2008 or 2009. I'm not exactly positive on that, so don't quote me on that. What's DOD? DOD is displacement on demand. Actually, I think Chrysler calls it that. I think GM calls it AFM. No. Oh yeah, AFM, active fuel management. What it does is it basically takes a V8 and makes it a 4-cylinder. I'm not going to go into all the particulars involved in it, but I'm going to go over the actual lifters and what the lifters do. Oh, excuse me. So let me just show you here what I got. So here, these are DOD lifters that have been taken apart. These are the shells of a DOD lifter. This, where's the regular? I have a regular lifter here somewhere. At least I thought I did. Yeah, here it is. All right, so here's a regular lifter. Those of you that know engines know what a lifter looks like. This is just a standard roller lifter. Nothing special about it. What is a lifter? All right, a lifter pushes on a push rod. Well, basically it rides on a camshaft here, pushes on a push rod here. The push rod it pushes on a rocker arm. Rocker arm is basically a seesaw that does this. Push rod comes up, hits the bottom of it, seesaw, and opens a valve. Anyway, standard lifter right here. This is a hydraulically adjustable lifter. Basically, this inner piece here, as you see, I can push down on it, turn my light on, hang on one second, get a clean hand, there we go. And you see the center, see how it pushes down? There's a spring in there, but it gets an oil cushion, and the oil cushion makes it so the valves don't have to be adjusted. Here is a standard DOD lifter. Now there is, as you can see, it looks like a standard lifter from the base down. Very similar in design. Very similar in design, but there's a major difference to this. This lifter has this piece attached to it. This piece has locking pins, these things down here. As you see on here, see those locking pins? They're held in with a spring, and they're controlled by oil. What happens is when oil pressure builds up in a certain passage on this DOD lifter, I don't know which one it is. It could be this one. It could be this one. Like I said, I'm not going to get overly into specifics. What happens is it unlatches these latches, these pins basically. It unlatches them and allows this thing to move up and down. Now, what I could do is I could assemble this. It's cold in here. We don't have heat in this garage either. But this garage never had heat. I knew that. So now, as you can see there, if I push down on it, See that? Now that spring is weaker than the valve spring. So that spring's going to give way. So with the lifter, with those pins deactivated and basically collapsed inside, it allows that thing to have that kind of give. When it has that kind of give, it cannot open the valves. Now what happens is it shuts off, it shuts off the injectors and that at the same time. This way you're not just wasting fuel. Because obviously you're not going to get any fuel savings if you're wasting fuel. So what happens when you get the DOD misfire in that? What happens is this. Let me show you. Now this one, compared to this one, if you look, you see the top there? This is stuck in the down position. I have a video, it's actually a short on YouTube. It's like one of the very first shorts I had put up, maybe like fourth or fifth one in. I'm going to see if I can't put a link up to it. But you can see the rockers are not moving. Basically what happens when this happens too is the push rod is now, like the length that it has to take up is extremely long. Yes, the lifter's still working. It's still going up and down, but the spot where the lifter pushes, or where the push rod pushes on, that spot there is basically sunk all the way down, like this. But what has to happen is the latching part of it takes place in this position, and then it gets released. So why is this stuck in the down position? There's no spot for it to latch. What happens is those pins get beat up on the inside of the inner tube here. And I'm going to find two of these so you can see what I'm talking about. And it gets beat up on the inside here, and what happens is it gets jammed when it does release like this. Like this is released, basically it's released because I don't have the pins in it, I took the pins out. When it becomes released like that, and that thing gets pushed down, it's all burred up, so it gets jammed in on itself. That's the problem. I think it's a terrible design. GM has the worst luck with these things. Chrysler does it too, but I can't remember if this is the type of lifter it uses. I know it deactivates lifters. I just don't recall how Chrysler does it. Chrysler has its own camshaft problems, but that's neither here nor there. Let me see if I can find two of these and show you one that's beat up. Let me find that first, and then I'll show you. Okay, so here you see what I did actually was I cut one of these lifter bases open. And if you look closely, let me see if I can focus in on it. Oops. Sorry, where are we? You see that edge right there? That's not supposed to be like that. That's basically been beaten on. Oops, come on, focus. I don't know why it's not wanting to focus correctly. But yeah, you can see a definitive edge right there where it got beat up. See that? That is from, you know, it's supposed to look like that, but it looks like that. That's from those locking pins not going in all the way. See that? But now I have one here. Where the heck is it? It's not this one. I have one here. Oh, this one. See this? The pins are actually stuck inward. I didn't take this apart and take the spring out. These are actually stuck inward. So this one would have just been as if it was unlatched all the time. So that could create a problem also, or actually definitely will create a problem, that's for darn sure. But they are stuck inward, whereas you see all the other ones are outward because they are in the latched position. So, I don't know. Hopefully that answered some of your questions as to what goes wrong with these things. I know some people are like, well, what causes that in the first place? Well, in all honesty, to me, I think mostly it's a poor design. If I were to pick one of these trucks up with this type of a design to it, I'd have a programmer come and program this thing out of it. You can do that. You can even pick up handheld programmers like on Amazon or whatever. Actually, I'll put a link in the description to one too, so you can see it. At least I'm pretty sure it's there, so hopefully it'll be there. It'll be the first one in description. And I would get that and actually program this feature out of it. I've spoken to people. I've done a DOD delete on cars before, or AFM delete, whatever you want to call it, where you got to change the cam, the lifters. You may as well do the timing chain while you're in there. The tensioner, the oil pump O-ring, because you got to take all that stuff off anyway. You got to change the upper plate because there's an upper plate, like a manifold plate, that covers the lifter valley. That's what helps control this through oil passages. I don't have a block to show you, unfortunately, but if If you look out there, I'm sure you can find pictures of what it looks like. Where was I going? I lost my train of thought. Oof, terrible. But yeah, if I was to ever buy a truck that had that feature on it, I would have it programmed out. At least if it's programmed out, you don't have to worry about it turning on and off, because when it's turning on and off, that's when the problem happens. Doesn't happen on all of them. What causes it? Like I said, I think it has a lot to do with the poor design. The other thing that has to do with it is running them low on oil, lack of oil changes, sludge buildup. Although if you look in the video that these actually came out of, if you look in the video that I'm going to try to tag in here somewhere, you'll see that that motor was clean on the inside. And looking at these lifters, I didn't clean these. These are clean. So what led to this? I don't remember. I think the truck had 180,000 or 160,000, something in that range. I think it actually says it in that short video, how many miles were actually on it. So anyway, just something to consider. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. The people that I've done the delete on, it's been 3 different people I've done a delete for that I know of. And other people that I've spoken to that have had the programming done, they say they notice no difference in gas mileage. The whole point of this is to actually improve gas mileage. These people said they've noticed no change in fuel economy, none whatsoever. I've actually had the lady that these came out of, she said the truck actually started getting better gas mileage because she wasn't like struggling in 4-cylinder mode. You know, you can't control that. You don't have a choice of turning it on and off. The computer does it. So I don't know. She said she got better gas mileage by a couple miles, like a mile to the gallon, 2 miles to the gallon, something like that. On average, she was saying. But she said she definitely noticed an improvement in gas mileage. Could there have been other issues causing it? Because I did tune it up at the same time. I put new plugs in it. You know, could have been that. Who knows? But most people say they never notice a difference. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this video. It's cold in this garage. It's just a miserable day. All right. Hopefully you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys. Have a great day. Keep wrenching.